Good evening from the beautiful state of Jefferson, near the foothills of Northern California. A state of mind, if not a state in fact. Welcome to Fireside Chats. Tonight, we're going to talk about censorship. Earlier this year, Facebook and Twitter banned Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, and many others. And to many, this appears to be, including myself, censorship. YouTube also famously banned Alex Jones and others. And so we're here to talk about it tonight. The most recent example we now have is Facebook doing round 2 of banning accounts, and they banned Paul Joseph Watson, who was associated with Alex Jones and part of Alex Jones' team. And so Paul Joseph Watson, if any of you are familiar with him, would have been considered the more mainstream of those two. Paul Joseph Watson would probably be described as, your typical conservative. Not as much of a conspiracy theorist, end quote, as Alex Jones, but I'm of the mind that more speech is better than less speech. And Alex Jones, over the years, has been right about a number of things, and his overall thesis that we're being dominated by an ultra elite that are neo-Malthusiasts. I believe he's onto something there. Now, when you get into the weeds, into some of the details, I think Jones would have been better off hiring some fact checkers rather than sprucing up his studio. I think Jones' downfall is he's lost a lot of really good people that were a part of his operation due to his massive ego. He and Mark Dice famously had a feud that I think was extremely damaging to Alex Jones. And he used to have on his channel a man by the name of Jack Blood, who could have been a star. That guy was really, really pretty amazing, but he called into question some of the fact checking that needed to happen, and that obviously didn't go over too well in Jonestown. So, on balance, I think that Jones over the years has probably done much more good than bad. But censorship, I do not think, is the answer. Let's take a look at one of his greatest hits here. I'm a big fan of this one.
The show this year too. Let's watch this.
Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? That's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns.
So, yeah, that was his famous rant on the Piers Morgan show. Mao took the guns. Stalin took the guns. 1776 will commence again if you take our guns away. Do you understand? Good shit. So, but, so the question is, should we first of all, there are a couple of questions here. Number one, basically Facebook before and the other social media companies were banning people under the under the facade, under the reasoning of it being a violation of terms of service. And now, what's different about this particular instance is the veneer of it being a terms of service violation is gone. It's just, we don't like your speech, and we're a private company, neener. We don't have to do anything. So I think that's where it's coming in, and so there's a few issues at play. Number one, should they and can they are the main questions. So let's go with should they ban Alex Jones? No. I think you give the users the ability to mute or to block, and that's fine. That's enough. People can choose what they want to listen to and what they don't want to listen to. And I don't understand what's so dangerous about Alex Jones. A person with a bit of common sense can look into some of the stuff that he's proposing and that he's peddling, and they can make an educated decision on whether to listen to him for entertainment value or to listen to him as someone that's serious. But he's really started something, and I don't think that President Trump would have been possible without Alex Jones. So. And I really think that's the point when it comes down to it. And, I first was exposed to Alex Jones on Coast to Coast AM during, I believe, the 2008 Bilderberg conference. And I was driving around. It was late at night. I couldn't sleep. And I was listening to it, and it was fascinating stuff. It was in a hotel room. Like alarms started going off. People were kicking him out. It was pandemonium. And George Norrie's like, "Get out of there, Alex! Get out, quick! Oh, we don't have to get out of here, and we got a right to be in this motel room. But I don't know. I think we need to go." Doing my Alex Jones voice hurts. So, yeah, I mean, it was fascinating. And I was hooked, and I listened to him for a really long time after that. But, I spot checked some of his stuff. And I'm actually really grateful. He covered some stories that were local to me that were really important. And, for example, when I lived in Sacramento, which thank God I don't anymore, there was the Natomas Unified School District going around to homeschool students, attempting to force vaccinate them with a nurse in tow. That was covered on the Alex Jones Show. Say what you like about pro-vax and anti-vax, but these students were homeschooled, so the school didn't have a lot to say about it, but they were attempting to force vaccinate those students. And Alex Jones covered the story when no one else did. So hats off to Alex Jones for that. Some of the issues with Alex Jones are, and it's been pointed out by Mark Dice, but Lindsey Williams, who he had on, talked about a book that he wrote, and he talked about the Alaskan Anwar and some of the oil reserves. And on the show, it made it seem like Lindsey Williams was very anti-big oil people. But in his book, he was quite sympathetic to the oil barons. And a lot of the conspiracies that Lindsey Williams had peddled on the Alex Jones Show, when referencing his book, were not present in the actual book. So that was, and I started spot checking, and I would find little errors here and there. I mean, there's a lot. If you're looking into conspiracies, I mean, there's a lot out there. There's the that we just don't know for sure. And I think some of these were covered by his rival during the 90s, Bill Cooper. And I think we may just do a webcast on the strange death of Bill Cooper someday. But there's stuff like the memo from Iron Mountain, which said that warfare is necessary to our society and that society would basically collapse without continuous warfare, and that the organizing principle of any society is warfare. And is this memo a hoax? Is it not a hoax? But it's fascinating. And then there's another memo that talked about conditioning that may or may not be a hoax, that talked about conditioning through popular media the idea of extraterrestrials before there's actually a formal introduction or disclosure, as the UFO enthusiasts like to call it. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. Some of the stuff that he covered was fascinating. Now, watching him on the Joe Rogan show, that's a little scary. I think that might be somebody that's had a little too much substances and is going off a little bit. But the answer is no. Alex Jones should not be censored. You have people like Kyle Kalinske that routinely check Alex Jones. I believe as Jack Blood, the host of one of the temporary hosts that filled in for Alex from time to time and had his own show for some time. Really an amazing talent, Jack Blood. It's really a shame that he didn't continue with it. But that the answer to speech is more speech. More speech. And a lot of times, so should he be censored? No. Now, here comes the next question. Can he be censored? Should there be regulation of speech or protecting speech on these social media companies? And you might be surprised to know that I'm not for that. Can he be banned? Yes. It's their platform. They can ban him. They can ban whomever they like. One of the things that was somewhat refreshing about this recent round of bans is that they were finally honest about it. It's our platform. We don't like him. We're going to ban him. Okay. And it's theirs. They own it. They can do whatever they want with it. It's their platform. I think it's chicken shit. I think it's stupid. I don't agree with it. Can they? They sure can. So now comes the question, if they weren't going to ban him, what should they have done instead? Here's what they should have done instead. First of all, quit being a coward. Quit hiding. What you should do is Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey or any of these other social media magnates, they should just do what used to be done back in the day, like Cal Thomas did with his radio stations, and you do an editorial. I'm Cal Thomas, and this is my radio station, and this is my editorial, and this is what I think, and this is a special message from me, and that's what it is. That's it. Don't ban people. Do that. Mark Zuckerberg could get up there and have videos playing and say, "Hi, I'm Mark Zuckerberg. I created Facebook." Some of the things that you see on here, Alex Jones and some other things, I fundamentally disagree with their point of view, and I think that that they're dangerous. But here's my point of view, and this is my platform. I hope you continue to enjoy using Facebook, and just know that even though these people are on my platform, I don't agree with them. Here's why I don't agree with them. Continue enjoying my platform. These are the tools that we're going to give you, so that if you don't agree with them or want to hear from them either, this is how you avoid them. That's how you do it. So it's you'd think that someone as brilliant as a Mark Zuckerberg or a Jack Dorsey would have thought of that, and the team that they have would have thought of that. But I mean, again, it's their platform. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They can do that. They can censor. They can shut people down. They can do whatever the fuck they want. It's theirs. And Alex Jones actually, if I'm recalling correctly, had some disputes with some people that he had done business with, and he famously said, hey, you can say whatever you want to on your platform. The Alex Jones Show, that's my platform. So, I mean, that, and he built an amazing platform on his radio show, on his podcasts. Now he's got an app out. I mean, he's built an amazing platform. And I think he was needed. I think that voice was needed. I think the very fact that there was so much pushback goes to show you how unpopular the so-called mainstream opinion is. I think Alex Jones also, along with many others, I think Rush Limbaugh was probably one of the first that exposed modern-day liberalism as the elitist, ultra-elitist kind of philosophy that it is. If you look here in the state of California, our last two governors, Governor Brown and Governor Newsom, they come from a political class. They are plutocrats. They come from extremely wealthy backgrounds. Do you honestly think if it didn't benefit them and their businesses that they'd give a flying fuck about illegal immigrants or poor people or rent control or homelessness or any of that? No way. Never. They don't care. And they're certainly not going to care about the middle class. The middle class, there's the most disconnect of all from the middle class. You see, at least with a first-class Catholic education like Governor Brown and Newsom received, you're taught about the poor and being amongst the poor, but you're not taught about people that work and work for a living and get paid a decent wage and have a decent house. Those people they view as the help. And when you get on the right side of the spectrum, you know, those people aren't after bodies. They're after souls. They want you to succeed. They want you to build up a business. They want you to do well. It's always a race to the lowest common denominator with people on the left, I feel. And let's put it this way. I've never been death threatened by a person on the right. And I've got super liberal views on things like, and, you know, I think I've done more than my fair share of interracial dating, if we're being completely honest. In fact, that's pretty much all I do, really. So, you know, if those racists and sickos really existed, I really think that I probably would have heard a lot more from them than I do. Instead, it's like, you know, if they don't get it, it's like, oh, well, I really don't get it, but hey, you know, as long as you're having fun. It's a live and live attitude. As on social media, there was a police officer, and the officer made a post, and he got mobbed, and he was accused of being a racist. He was a white man, and this thread, it started off, it went to 50 comments, to 150 comments, and eventually, some of his friends saw what was going on, and they said he's not a racist, and they posted a picture of him holding an interracial baby with his African American wife. And I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, and guess what happened? Do you think that the people on the left this guy alone? No. You know what they did? They started digging into him, and the same people that were calling him a racist flipped the script and started calling him an N-word lover and things like that. And talking about how he liked dipping in the chocolate and all this weird stuff. It's just unbelievable. These people, how they move the goalposts, and just you can't have a good I mean, it's ridiculous. And so I think exposing these ultra lefties or these Democrats as being elitist has done a lot to do that. And there certainly are elitists on the right too, or in the Republicans. The Bushes, I think, are a good example of that. But you know what? The Bushes didn't win. Yeah, I could do a whole show on how Bushes are. Some scary people, the Bushes. But, so yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And is Facebook and Twitter, are those going to be the end-all, be-all social media networks? I don't think so. I still remember America Online and CompuServe. And America Online were pretty cool. You could chat with anybody around the world, and you had instant messenger, and it was neat. But AOL got arrogant. They got extremely arrogant. And, they started getting a little bit heavy-handed with their terms of service. People found out that you could get internet access cheaper elsewhere without their proprietary bullshit software. And so people started leaving. And then, AOL became a shell of its former self. So time goes on. MySpace shows up. And MySpace blew up. And this Facebook came along. Well, Facebook what? Why would anybody want to be on Facebook? And so this should give you an idea of my conspiracy theory, and that's that Facebook got a lot of attention that it didn't merit. Facebook ended up on 60 Minutes, the TV show. Ended up on 2020. All these news shows were like Facebook. And Facebook becomes, and Tom, the guy that owned MySpace, sold MySpace. And Facebook becomes the next thing. And so, and then, Twitter kind of blows up. I'm actually seeing